What is happening, amigos? Welcome back to my YouTube. We have a lower day on the menu here. We are en route to the gym. We are going to walk through the workout, the do's, the don'ts, the whys, how I programmed specifically for myself this training block and how I do it for my clients, and which, little secret, is not much different. There's some individual tweaks here and there, but it's more or less the same, follows the same principles, and I'll explain all that when we get in there, when we get into the workout. So I am indulging in my pre-workout caffeine here. It's a passion fruit oxy shred. I think is one of the nicest energy drinks I've ever had. Taste wise, caffeine wise, it's only like 100 mgs, but to be honest, as long as I've caffeine on board, I'm sweet, man. I don't really feel any physiological benefits from caffeine upon having it. You know, it's not hammy from over the hedge here. Like, I'm not buzzing around the place after I've had caffeine. Excuse me, never really had that, and I don't think many people do. So as long as it's on board, I just feel safe that I'm primed for performance. So we had a nice little milestone this morning, guys. I hit 99.9 kg on the scales, which is the first 99 I have seen in a while. So that felt great. The reason being is I established, well, the last couple of weeks I've just been seeing 101, 102. I saw 100 yesterday, and you know, I kind of just got a bit monotonous. So to see the 99, it came at the right time, and it gave me a nice little psychological boost. So on that note of weigh-ins, I'm going to put on my screen here what my weigh-ins have looked like over the last couple of weeks. And I think today is April 25th, right? On April 11th, I weighed 101.9. And only a couple of days ago, like April 19th or 20th, maybe even later, I weighed the same. Now, that would be discouraging, and it nearly did discourage me until I reflected. So I took a step back and looked at my weekly averages, which are trending down at a pretty aggressive pace of nearly over a kilo a week. So yeah, just a quick one there. When you're weighing yourselves, just take the daily weigh, and it's just an individual data point. It's singular, doesn't mean a whole lot. It only makes sense when it's put into a graph or put amongst a group of other weigh-ins, and then you can spot trends and whatnot. So yeah, weekly averages are very important. It's what I reflect, it's what I use to make decisions with my energy balance in my body, and same with my clients. Individual weigh-ins they're good, they're worth celebrating, like my one this morning, but other than that, they're nothing to be fucking getting huffed over or losing sleep over. Just get on the scale, see the number, and plug it, because an individual weigh-in has so many factors going on. When you see it on the scales, it obviously has your body mass, your body fat, your lean tissue mass, so on and so forth. But it also has a combination of other things which fluctuate massively on a daily basis: water weight, food content in your belly, glycogen stores, all that good stuff. So yeah, we're going to get in here. The gym doesn't look too busy, so we should have a good session. We are starting with leg press. I hit an all-time PB on this machine last week. I have been using this machine for over a year and a half, so that is a nice reflection of where the body is at. So what am I going to try to do today with that machine? I am going to try replicate or improve on that performance last week. That does not mean I need to get the same weight for the same reps or the same weight for more reps. That could be the same weight for even less reps executed better at a better intensity. At an easier intensity. You know, it wouldn't be as hard. That is, I think I would extract from that I have improved again. I could go heavier for the same reps. So even though on paper it looks like less than last week, it mightn't be, a regression. It might actually be progression. So we're going to get straight into that. We're actually starting off with abs, but during my leg press warm-up, I do my 2 sets of crunches. I'll explain that when we get in there. So yeah, let's get right down to it. Also forgot I had my pre-workout meal, which I have before every workout, and I will be having before every workout for this cut. So if you watched last week's video, you would have seen it, but do not sleep on bananas, cinnamon and honey and some flavored rice cakes to the side and not together. But oh my god, cinnamon, honey and bananas cooked in the microwave. Right, let's get in there. Right, we're actually going to go over the running commentary of this workout, lads, just because YouTube and its copyright infringement laws are going to destroy my channel one of these days. Anyway, starting the workout with abs, because I want to prioritise them. It's always sensible if you are prioritising a muscle to put it at the start of the workout. You're not carrying any fatigue, and mentally you're just more switched on. Well, I am anyway. You're going to give it a proper shot and bring the intensity that's actually needed to stimulate growth. You see, if I left them to the end of the workout, and I am guilty of this, I'm just not really there. I'm thinking about what's next in my day, where am I going, am I late for work, so on and so forth. And that takes away from the intensity I should otherwise be applying. Now, my main goal here is spinal flexion. So extending the spine around the pad and then curling the spine up around the pad, aka crunch. So I'm trying to minimize movement through the hips so other muscles aren't assisting the movement. Then onto the leg press. The goal here is just knees over toes, as much knee flexion as possible. That will bias the quads and make sure they're doing most of the work. I also had a performance goal here, which was to replicate last week. I got 7 reps with this exact weight and I had nothing left in the tank, so if I got that again today I would have been happy. And I did. I got 7 reps again, and you'll see towards the end here I actually definitely had more left in the tank. Now that's progression. We just need to compound progressions like this over and over again. But can I say that's enough to say I've grown muscle? No, I don't think so. It's too acute, because last week, if things were differently, I could have done this. It's only when I can do something that I know for a fact that I couldn't have done a couple of weeks ago, that's when I'll say, right, there's probably more muscle there. And that's basically my whole philosophy. Can I do things now that I couldn't have done a few weeks ago? Alongside how things look in the mirror and in pictures, of course. On to my first hamstring exercise of the day. The hamstrings have 2 primary functions, which is just knee flexion and hip extension. This is the knee flexion part ticked off. All I'm trying to do here is not let the pelvis slide up and down the pad. I don't want other muscles helping out, and same idea as the crunch. Then we're on to the leg extension, which I think should be in any bodybuilding program. It's just pure knee extension, isolating the quads. It doesn't really involve a whole lot from the glutes and the hip extensors. That is assuming you keep your hips down, so I do that by just holding onto the pads. After leg extensions, then I go on to stiff legs. All I'm really trying to do here is to keep the knees more fixed and push the hips back, which increases the stretch and the demand on the hamstrings. Now I know the whole stretch mediated hypertrophy debate has been going wild the last few years, but look, I like to tick all the boxes. Now my cues there do sound similar to an RDL, but with an RDL I just say to my clients, think deadlift. There's more knee flexion, just focus on pushing the hips back. Whereas with a stiff leg, you also have to think about keeping the knees more fixed, and that's what loads the hamstrings more. It takes away from the glutes' ability to contribute to the movement. So that's my second hamstring movement. Anyway, after that, onto calves. I like to train them with a straight knee. That's going to bias more of the gastro. I use this variation because I don't need to load loads of plates, and that just means a lot to me, to be honest. So you call me lazy or whatever, but I don't really care. I just use the seated leg press and just go one leg at a time. Then onto the adductors. I've been told it's more of a female exercise, but it's easy, it's there, it's a low-hanging fruit, and it trains the inside of the legs. And when I get properly lean, that's something I imagine is going to really show. Well, that was good. Ticked all the boxes, which is progression. Get stronger. Stronger is bigger. That's the goal, lads. So just get hyper-focused on getting stronger. So, yeah, all things considered, 4 weeks of an aggressive diet and probably the most active I've been in my life. I've hit 20k steps every day for basically the last 3 weeks. 1 or 2 days I fell short, but yeah, consistently hitting 20k steps. So covering about 105 kilometers a week, which I'm pretty sure I've never done in my life. My the phone data goes back as far as 2016, and there's been no trend like this in the past. So yeah, this is going pretty well. So that's what the low volume is there for, lads, is to allow for adequate recovery so that I can keep progressing. Building muscle while getting shredded. It's the fucking dream, and it can be done. And of course, if anyone would like to be shown the way, I have coaching slots available. If coaching is not something you can afford now, please reach out anyway. We can have a chat, see what we can do. So I'm going to go home now, have my brekkie, which is amazing. I think everything I eat now is going to be amazing. Taste buds are pretty sensitive. You could probably give me dog shit with chocolate syrup on it, and I tell you, it's nice. So yeah, I hope YouTube doesn't catch me for that. Fucking hell, YouTube's very strict. But yeah, I'm going to do a full day of eating tomorrow, so you will see what that will entail. A full training day of eating, which just has a bit of extra carbs over a rest day. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, show some love. Tell me how I could do this better, or is there anything you'd like to know? Follow me on Instagram at GetStrongWithSteve. Same goes for TikTok. As always, don't forget to get strong.